Knowing keyboard shortcuts and committing them to our muscle memory means that we can rip through all of the tedious, repetitive tasks that naturally come with video editing, and then refocus our attention and our creative genius on crafting a story. Well, you're in luck, my friend, because I'm about to let you in on my most used keyboard shortcuts for the edit page in DaVinci Resolve. I'm Tom Graham for Envato Tuts Plus, and it's time to speed up that workflow. You know what else is going to speed up that workflow? That's right, it's a subscription to Envato Elements, where you get access to millions of digital assets that you can download and use in your projects right away. And we're talking about assets that are perfect for video editors like you. So get all of your stock footage, music, sound effects, and video templates right now. Hit elements.envato.com or just head to that link in the description below and stop doing things the slow way. But before we dive in, I'm working on a Mac, so if you're on a PC, when I say Command, substitute that for Control, and when I say Option, substitute that for Alt. All right, away we go. First up, we're talking about transport controls. Nope, not that type of transport. We're talking about play, pause, fast forward, and reverse. And look, you can grab your mouse, drag it over the screen to this middle section, click play to play, click stop to stop, and so on. But no, this is not efficient. It's time to commit some keystrokes to memory. So spacebar is to play, spacebar is to pause. K is to pause whilst playing. Hold K and hit L to skip forward one frame. Hit L a few more times while holding K to skip forward a few more frames. To do the opposite, hold K and hit J, you'll go back a frame. From a pause, you can hit L to play and hit it again to play up to 2 times speed. Keep hitting it all the way up to 64 times speed. This is perfect for scrubbing through your timelines when making selects. 9 times out of 10, I'm doing the majority of my editing in 2 times speed. It's fast enough to speed up your workflow while still being able to understand dialogue. Try it now, thank me later. Again, to do the inverse, you can just hit J once or many times to play back in reverse at various speeds. Another bonus keyboard tip for quickly navigating a timeline full of selects, or any timeline for that matter, is Command plus or Command minus to zoom in or out of the timeline respectively. You want to get in nice and close to make precise edits, but you also want to be able to quickly zoom out to take in the full picture. So that's transport controls taken care of. But let's stick with that theme for a little while longer and look closer at how we can navigate the timeline. So hitting Command plus the arrow keys will let you select clips on your timeline and navigate effortlessly between each clip. So if you've clicked into the timeline and you have no clip selected, hitting Command left or Command right will select the clip directly to the left or right of the playhead. And if you have multiple clips stacked in that position, it will target the top clip on either the left or the right. Holding Command and hitting down will select the clip below, left will move left, right will move right, and so on. If you want to select the clip and then move it up or down within your layer stack, that is simple to do on your keyboard as well. Making sure you have a clip selected either using that last keyboard tip or by clicking one, you can hold Option and hit up or down to move the clip up or down respectively. Now, of course, you can really easily do this with your mouse as well, but oftentimes, if you do want to move up or down within the stack, you want it to be frame perfect. You don't want it to drop out of sync. If you do this with the mouse, you risk moving it left or right by a couple of frames by accident, and by holding Option and pressing up or down, you're removing that margin for error, as there's absolutely no left or right input, so I recommend doing it that way. So that's navigating the timeline and scrubbing through your footage. Let's move on to some actual editing now. Now, if you've come from Premiere or Final Cut or another NLE like that, you might be familiar with something called an add edit, which basically means you can map a single keystroke that will create a cut through all of the layers where the playhead is. This is my personal favorite way of creating edits, especially when beginning to build a project at the select stage. DaVinci Resolve also has this capability as well. They call it the razor tool. The slow mouse version of this is to select the blade tool here or with B on your keyboard, then to click the parts of the clip that you want to add an edit to. However, this is not very precise. You have a higher margin for error in where you place that cut, and if your layers aren't linked, then you'll have to go ahead and click multiple times to add edits across all of your media. Here's the right way to do it. Place your playhead over the part of the timeline that you want to add your edit to, either with your mouse or via the transport controls we talked about earlier. Hit Command B on your keyboard and voila, you've added an edit. If you don't want to add an edit to all of the layers, say for instance you don't want to cut this music track, then simply lock whatever tracks you don't want to be affected. Now, a common exercise when making selects is to cut out sections of footage that you know you're not going to use. It could be an outtake, a sneeze, a weird blink, someone walking in the background. Whatever it is, you would usually kind of just find where that part of footage begins, and then you'd add your edit. And in this case, we'd do that with Command B. Then you'd find the part where it finishes, you'd add your edit again, you'd select that part of the clip with your mouse, then hit backspace to delete that piece of the clip. Sometimes you'll want to close that gap as well, which you can do by clicking in the gap. we call this a ripple, and hitting backspace to delete it. Clearly that's a long process that surely we can speed up, and you're right, we can. First of all, you can hit the delete key or shift backspace if you have a small keyboard without a dedicated delete key, and that would delete the piece of unwanted footage and it would close that ripple as well. But the real pro way of doing it is like this. Find the start of the piece of footage you wish to remove and hit Command B to add your edit. Then navigate to the end of that piece of footage that you want to delete. Instead of hitting Command B again, this time you're going to hit Command Shift open bracket, and that will add the edit, delete the piece of footage you want to remove, and close the gap all in one fell swoop. Pure speed. Command Shift close bracket is also a helpful tool if you want to cut off the end of a clip. Let's say that you know that this is where you want your clip to end and that anything beyond the point is unusable or not useful for you. Hit Command Shift close bracket and boom, it's gone. The last really quick tip I use constantly when creating edits in DaVinci Resolve is the paste attributes function. Let's say we're happy with the selects with this edit, but we do want to avoid those jump cuts, and we'll do that by punching in on our 4K footage to create a little tighter frame and a second angle. A common editing technique, but also a little time consuming when having to replicate that punch in for each piece of footage, or so you think. Simply create the punch in effect that you're happy with in the inspector on your first piece of footage like so. Then you use Command C to copy that clip, select the next clip that you want to share that same punch in effect with, and hit Option V, and this will bring up the Paste Attributes dialog box. Make sure this little box here is checked to copy over all of the video attributes and hit OK. Easy. Oh, you want to do it for multiple clips? Well, all you need to do is select all of the clips by holding Command and clicking the ones that you want, and then paste those attributes following the same process as before. So there we go, a couple of really simple but really effective keyboard shortcuts that you need to commit to your memory if you're working in DaVinci Resolve, especially on the edit page. I hope you found these useful, and of course, let me know in the comments what your favorite keyboard shortcuts are in the program. Do you like editing Resolve? What speeds up your workflow? I want to know. Let us know in the comments. Until next time, happy editing.